Hey guys, so in today's video, we're going to be working on the 1/16 scale Mini E Revo. It has got a design flaw that causes it to eat differentials whenever you run it on a 3S battery. And if you heard my previous video, it was like clicking a lot, and that was the rear differential. But I've taken it apart, I've gotten the parts, and now we're going to see if we can find a solution to this tiny issue, and hopefully it'll be a more reliable RC after we've done this. So here you can see the Mini E Revo is all in pieces, and the design flaw that I was telling you about is that this piece right here is in two halves, and this piece houses the differentials. The differential goes inside of there and it closes on like this. And this is a very bad design if you're going to run 3S in this thing, because what happens is it allows it to split, and when it splits it lets the mesh, the gear mesh, open up like this, and this gear will slip against the differential. And when it does that, see, I hope you can see this. You can see these teeth are ground down. Those teeth are okay. Those teeth are ground down. Those teeth are okay. And those teeth are ground down. So we have several solutions we're going to do all at one time. I have got these metal skid plates, and these are going to help hold these two halves together. And so hopefully they don't come apart the way they do. I also have some tiny shims, and these are, these right here. These are the ones I'm using. They're 8mm axle shims by Kalenja Racing Concepts. I think I got these at the hobby shop. So that's what those are. I also am going to put a differential in the center of it. It does not have a center diff. It has this right here, which is not a differential. This is a solid piece. And then it has this gear on there, and these halves don't move. And so we're going to put a differential in there, and hopefully that helps it keep it from tearing the rear differential up. This is a 7014. That's the parts number on there. And so that goes inside of there. So I've already taken it apart, but I'm not going to show you again. All you got to do to get to the differential is take off the front skid plate. That comes off. There's 5 screws on it. Then you take off the center skid plate, and those 4 screws are what holds that together. Take off, remove your drive shafts, and this comes right out like that. We're going to take the cover off. This piece comes off like that. I'll loosen this screw right there. Now we have to take this little gear right here off. Stick something through there so it doesn't rotate on you. Finish taking it off with this. Pull that apart. That little disc comes off like that. Now we have access to all the screws. Once I got the screws out, I lay them out in the exact pattern they came out in, even if they are the same. Pull that piece off. Now there is a little pin right here. See that little pin? Don't lose that little pin. You might want to take it out. That's the pin that goes inside of that. So keep track. Oh no, it's magnetized. Keep track of that. And this comes apart like that. Be careful not to lose your bearings or anything else out of there. And right here, this is the differential. Pull that piece right there out. And that is the center differential. So that is where this piece right here was originally, and I took it out. I'm gonna go ahead and take it apart. Take these 3 screws out. I'm gonna show you what's inside of here. There it goes. So you can see that's all that's in there. So when you put it back together, I don't know if you can tell, there's little notches above each one of those gears, and there are 3 little tabs, I guess you would call them, and they fit together so that it goes back properly. And you should be able to look through, you can't see on camera, but you should be able to look through the holes, and you'll see light on the other side. It lets you know it's in the right spot. Make sure that turns okay, it looks right. I am going to add a little bit of diff fluid. This is 50,000 weight. Yeah, 50,000 weight. I'm going to put much in there. It doesn't need much. I'm going to put this side on, and there's little notches that goes into. Snug, but not too tight. If it's too hard for you to turn with your fingers, back off the screws just a hair. There it goes. That's much better. That's much better. Just put it back together. The rounded side goes down into it like that. It will not fit properly if you put it the other way. And there you go. Don't forget this little pin goes in that little hole. And I put it in there before that blue plate because it's kind of difficult to get that pin in there with the blue plate on. So just don't forget that it's there. And keep an eye on it when you put this back together. Don't lose it. Now that you have that back together, this piece is going to go down. And I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell. It's going to line up with that pin and go on there. And be sure to keep this clean. Don't put lubricants or anything on there. That's the slipper, which you don't really need all that much now that we have the differential. So I'm actually going to tighten this down a little bit more than what I would normally. So I'm going to tighten it down all the way and back off. We'll do, I don't know, maybe a full turn. We're going to see how that works out. All right, you get it together and make sure your mesh isn't too loose or too tight. So I've gotten pretty good over the years of eyeballing meshes, and I get them pretty accurate without using any tools. A lot of people will take like a piece of paper and put a piece of paper between the gears, and that is about the gap you want for your mesh is a piece of paper. So you can take a little strip of paper, like a notebook paper or whatever, and put it between your gears and hold the gears tight and tighten it up, and that should be pretty close to perfect. Now that all that is together, is going to go back, and we're going to sit over here for now. Now to put the rear end back together, the differential, put the bearings back in there. I wiped them off already. And to shim it, we're going to take these little shims, put it on just like that, and do it on both sides. Just put it back together the way it came. This is a new differential. Make sure that shim is there, and it is together. Make sure everything spins freely. Just putting that piece on there to make sure everything is in there tight. Go ahead and put the screw back in. Everything looks and feels right. So let's put the E Revo back together. You see how this piece of plastic wants to split apart? When it splits apart, it makes this mesh come apart, and it will strip your gears. So hopefully having these aluminum plates will help hold it together like this, and the shims will stop the differential from moving back and forth in that space. Now we got everything back together except for these right here. The drivetrain is moving pretty smoothly, it seems. Yep, everything works. Good. See that differential is letting the front and rear drive shaft slip. All right, so let's go ahead and get these right here on there, and we're going to put this right here on first, then we'll put those on. So this plate goes on pretty easy. Just put it on back there first, then it should go on just like that. And we're going to use the screws that came out of the plastic plate to secure the aluminum plate. You can see how it splits right there, and you know, you can pull it together like this. The plastic ones allow this to spread apart because this has some flex and give to it. Because this one does not have any flex or give in it, it will hopefully hold that together better and will prevent the gears from inside from slipping. That looks really nice. Those are very nice. Everything's back together. It is ready to roll. We've been running a 1400 milliamp 3-cell 3S LiPo in this bad boy. I literally cleaned all this up last weekend. You can't even tell it. No clicking. This ain't scooch, does it? No, I rolled it over. Oh. Oh, almost got a flip out of it. It's got a pine cone and a stick. So the mesh is a little too tight. I'm gonna go loosen the mesh up a little bit. That sounds a lot better, doesn't it? It'll tear through those leaves, surprisingly. It might be small, but it's got a lot of power to it. Of course, we're gonna get into the air. Oh, that was really hard on the rear wheel. Hope I didn't break anything. No, it took it just fine. That clicking you hear is pine straw and leaves in it. Oh, that was so nice. I gave it too much throttle once it landed. If I held out, it would have survived it and made it on the wheels without having to bounce back over. Oh, that counts, right? One thing I did notice is that this aluminum piece really holds that front bumper down whenever it gets stuck in there. That's one downside, but if it stops it from tearing the differentials up, then I mean, I guess it's worth it, right? Maybe I should not aim for a tree. Oh, something broke. Oh, what did I break? So you can see it. There's no connection. I don't know if it's a center differential or drive shaft, but let's take it apart and find out. All right, what do you think it is? Drive shaft or differential? If it's a differential, I have a second one, so let's see. I think it's a drive shaft though. And I feel kind of dumb. The screw for the motor, that controls the mesh, it came loose. That was it. You can hear the pine straw and stuff stuck in the wheels. It keeps making me think there's something wrong with the gearing. It made it. It landed that. Ooh, made it just in time. Here, let's try a standing backflip, see what it does. Nope. Nope. Feels like either the differential or the slipper clutch is stopping from doing a standing backflip, which is fine because it's protecting the drivetrain. So let's try it again. Nope. So let's do that in slow motion so we can see exactly what it does. Yeah, we're not gonna be able to do a standing backflip. You can see it's diffing out. When that front end comes off the ground, as soon as those front tires lose traction on the ground, you can see they start spinning faster than the rear tires, and that's because all the power is going to the front because there's no resistance to it, and that's what the differential does, and that's how the differential saves your drivetrain. It's going to prevent you from destroying your drivetrain by having that differential in there. So that is doing its job. You can see it clearly on camera, which I think is cool. It's pretty cool to see that. Without that differential, you would be able to do standing back flips. I know, because I was doing them in the last video, or I think I wasn't I? I don't know. Maybe I should go back and watch my old video, right? So I went back and watched my previous video like I should have done before I started talking about it. But no, it does not do standing back flips because I think the rear end of it gets in the way, the bumper and the wing and everything else. I think it clearly has the power, and it had the traction to do it because it was completely flipping over backwards. Now it won't even flip over backwards because it just doesn't have the traction going to the rear wheels to bring that rear end underneath. So that's what the differential does. I think that differential is a great upgrade for it, especially when you're running 3S. I don't know if you will be able to torque down the nut on the slipper clutch. I mean, I'm sure someone knows online, but you may be able to bypass the slipper clutch completely by tightening that nut all the way down. And I don't know, maybe I'll do that and try it and see if it tears something up. So, but anyways, that's all I got for you today, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. Like the video if you like it. I hope this video helped you guys out. I think these little modifications, upgrades really helped the Revo out. And I didn't break a differential or break anything today, so that's really good. I ran the whole battery pack till it was dead. So yeah, but thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys later.